Hello, good morning. It is morning where I am. It is a grey, cloudy morning, and I am here on Wednesday, the 27th of May, for my Speak Your Truth Midweek Musings. I was wondering, what am I going to muse about? I've been musing every morning, uh, and the thing that's actually coming up is for me right now. It's right here, fear. It just says fear. Helen, talk about fear of the week and the things that you've been frightened of. So there's almost a part of me thinking, who's talking here? But hey, that's what's been kind of guided. And I'm trying to think, and I suppose one of the things that I have kind of just learned to accept about my life is that fear, what that I had accepted rather than I do accept, was that fear was just one of my natural states. And it was something, feel the fear and do it anyway. And I'm not sure that that was necessarily, or no, not, I'm not sure that that is necessarily the right way forward. I think to address the fear and to look at the root of the fear, to explore the fear, to thank the fear. There are many different ways. So for most of my life, I have felt fear and done it anyway. I was quite a frightened child. I was very scared. It was a very violent household. So, but fan of. If I get frightened, I don't like being frightened. I don't like it at all. But even the so many nuanced ways in which fear has shaped me and continues to shape me. This week, I learned, and it was a learning, that due to the way that I was disciplined, and I'll use the word discipline lightly, but I was disciplined as a child, it has actually made me fearful of or certain aspects of myself in case those, so that's been quite an interesting revelation for me, that I've created my own prison, and I've put myself in there, not fully. I'm not fully released, obviously, or realised that aspect of myself, which it's quite sad, very sad, to be fair. But I am a life in progress, and I embrace that. I'm really glad that I have now become aware of that and started to work on that, which is just fabulous. Fear, as always, it offends me because there's nothing to be frightened of. One human, another human. Uh, in all fairness, what is there to be truly fearful of? Death is but an illusion, really. With our cells, the things about us that die on a moment by moment basis, and are rejuvenated. Death is a transition. How we die, oh my gosh, I think that's where the fear comes in. No one wants it to be painful, but death itself isn't. So, what is there to fear? Um, and what is the worst that I could possibly do if I released myself, if I just kind of burst forth? So, uh, in, fright, and it just shows itself in so many ways. Like I think when we talk of fear, it's like, ah, and there's loads of emotions, but sometimes we've lived with our fears for so long that we can't identify them anymore. We can't identify that it's actually a place of fear that we're moving from, that we're living from, and living from a place of fear. And when you aren't even aware of that, like, I was really surprised to learn that that I still had these particular fears. And so, but because it doesn't present itself as that churning in the gut. There wasn't any physical reaction, just a real dislike. I used to get angry with myself, and because I was still reacting in certain ways, and it used to frustrate me, and it still does. And I obviously I do treat myself with more kindness about that, and I'm not as heavy as what I was, and that's perhaps helped me get to the point where that can now be realized and identified as fear and of what it is. But so sometimes be aware of how your fear may not be is presenting itself, and it might not be presenting itself in the way that you think. And so it's about questioning and exploring whatever you're doing and whatever is going on for you, and going to the root of that and peeling back the layers on it and seeing what's at the root. And when you work from a place of love, when you live, not work, well, work everything. When you live from a place of love, fear doesn't really come into it. Caution is not fear. Awareness of possible threats is not fear. It is different. It's awareness. So my midweek musings are to look at areas that frustrate you, areas where you become angry with yourself, areas where you avoid, areas, and that you don't get butterflies, or your stomach doesn't tie in knots, you don't freeze. I mean, don't get me wrong, if a car's just whisked past me, freeze, or something like that. But so start to peel back the layers of the way that you interact with yourself and see what is at the root of that. And I was surprised that it was fear, and that I'd imprisoned myself due to being frightened of reacting in a certain way. So those are my midweek musings. So other things as well that have. It's been an interesting week. It's been an interesting week. I mean, I'm delighted that we seem to have normalised the abnormal. Which we need to do with humans, but we have normalised the abnormal, which is quite interesting. And the fear that, another thing about the fear is, I think I've spoken about this before, the fear that's out there. We are now looking at each other as threats, and oh gosh, that's so terrible. They have the powers that be, and I know that they have names, and that that they're very well, they think they're very powerful, but anyway, they have managed to. What the governments have done is managed to make us see our freedoms as selfish, and to look at each other with distrust in a more profound way than we used to. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to stop now. Be mindful, be careful, be grateful, be kind. I'm launching I'm doing I have a how to create an attitude of gratitude 5-day challenge. It will begin the first week in June. I'm going to sneeze in a minute. So apologies. First week in June, first Monday in June, I will actually take a look and see what date that is. I believe it's next week, because we're quite late into May now. So if you're interested in learning how to create an attitude of gratitude, which will begin on Monday, the 1st of June, please send me a message, get in touch via my website, authenticdiscovery.co.uk, on Instagram, Facebook, general social media places. They're all listed around this channel. Please subscribe, like, and the rest of it. Yes, a 5-day challenge on how to create an attitude of gratitude, starting on Monday. And it is a lovely challenge to do, if I say so myself. And it is a challenge. There are aspects of it that are quite challenging. So please, get in touch. Bye.